welcome everyone to our new How Do You Do That sessions. Today, Valentina is going to be presenting a music player that she worked on using variables in Figma and some really cool prototyping techniques. So, Valentina, I'll pass it over to you. You can show what it is that you've done, and then we'll have a few minutes at the end for any questions from everyone. So go ahead, Valentina.
Okay, so the idea that I had here was to turn this cover album by Nine Inch Nails into a working prototype so people can listen to this album on Figma instead of Spotify for any reason. It was mostly for fun. So the logic here is pretty simple. We have a songs component, and each variant is a different song. Also, each variant is named after a number. And this will allow us to navigate through these songs using these controls. Now let me show you the variables. So song number tells Figma which song is playing. We assign song number to our song component. We can see it here. It's kind of hidden here because the album cover actually doesn't show when you change songs. As you can see, song number is this very same song number. And how do we change songs? Well, simply using this control, we can add one to the current song that is playing. That way we can change songs, and this happens as long as position is less than this number. Now this number represents the length of this sort of progress bar component, and to give the illusion that with the needle, this little needle right here is moving through this progress bar, I assign another variable, which is position, that adds or removes padding on this little needle here. So for example, whenever you press Control, it will add 1 to current song, and that means it will play song number 2, and it will add, I think it was 30 pixels to the padding of this item, so it will move from 1 to 2. Now let me show you the working prototype for this. I don't know if you can hear my audio, but
No.
next?
No.
Oops. Yeah, I don't know how to share my local audio. The thing is that when you click next, it will move to the next song, and the needle will move to the next item. There's also these pause and play buttons. Those are very simple interactions. That's just assigning this to our song that is hidden under this screen, and set this as pause or play. And these are built in Figma, so I really didn't have to add any extra logic to that. One way you can use this on a product design, well, this same logic on a product design project is, for example, if you need to build a video player or even to control the slides on a carousel. I actually use some of this logic on a project that I'm in, that's with the app, which has this section that is like a video player. Also, based on this same logic, I pretty much duplicate this file and created this little iPod. This uses the very same logic. And when you change songs, it also will change the cover album. And so it works like an iPod with 5 songs.
Nice.
That's pretty much it.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, Valentina. Amazing.
Thanks. Thank you.
I've got a question. So what do you do to attach just audio to those variants for the songs?
I actually,
Audio? Do you use a video with audio, or how did you just do audio?
no, it's actually a video. The background of each of these is a different video. So it happens to have the album cover as the image of the video and the same audio. Basically what I did was to convert an MP3 to an MP4, and that way I could attach it to this component on Figma.
That's clever. I was trying to figure out how did you do that?
Yeah, whenever you need to add audio on a button, let's say to any component on Figma, you can just do that. You can just convert an MP3 to an MP4, so Figma will interpret it as a video, and you can use it to add audio to your prototypes.
There's some interesting options there too, with if you set it as a video fill on a frame, but you don't want any visual to show, but you want the audio to be able to play, you could just set the opacity of the fill of the video to 0.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice.
Or just hide it under something like this.
You can also send this to Figma and tell them, okay, I needed an audio, and so I had to put a video instead, and why don't you allow us to just put audio?
Yeah, that will be cool.
I love the artwork. Where did you find those, or I don't know, those components, those images?
Well, these actually are made right here on Figma, using a bunch of inner and outer shadows, so it looks like a real button or just anything else.
Oh, so you built those?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Looks
It's
really
super
good.
polished, right?
Super polished. Yeah.
Yeah. I just got really obsessed with nailing this look. I still needed to add some more dirt and just scratches.
I would never. Sorry. Go ahead.
Could you go
Yeah,
into
go ahead.
Could you go into a little bit of detail on the effects, say just for the play and pause button, like what sort of layers you have there, what effects you have, especially like around the text on like the pause, just showing how that's glowing looks like really realistic, and curious how you accomplish that.
Yeah, me too.
You mean the animation or
No, just the visual effects that you applied to like the text and the button itself and everything there.
Shadows.
Right. Okay, so on this, actually this one, I added a stroke only on the button, so it looks like the button is up. And when it's off, there is no stroke, so that it will look like the button is down. Besides that, for the text, I used a radial fill, so it feels like the center is lighter than the edges of the text. And when it's off, it's just a plain color. Also, something else that helps put this button together was to obviously changing the background here. So this background, using this radial gradient, looks like the center of this button has a light behind it. And this again just a plain color. Also, there is some small glowing here, so it looks like the button is actually, let me show you. So it looks like it's glowing on the background.
And the layer blur is really nice on the text too. It just makes it feel more realistic than if it was super sharp.
Yeah, exactly. I think, well, this edge, you can see how sharp they look and how different they look. Like, for example, this is another circle with a bunch of inner and outer shadows. And yeah, some layer blur, a minimal amount of layer blur to give these realistic vibes.
What did you use for the noise? Did you use a plugin for the noise, or did you just grab a PNG?
No, I use it. Where is it? It's a plugin called Noise. There are others similar to this one, but this one is really cool because it allows you to control the amount, the shape, add some extra effects here, and even has this other type of noise. For example, I use them on the background of this. It's not too obvious, but I tried to add some scratches like this one, but it didn't really work.
Great. Any other questions?
How long did it take you to do all this?
Yeah. Actually, since the logic was pretty simple, that only took me like half an hour, another half an hour to think about how to do this, and half an hour to actually make it. And for the details, the buttons and all of that, yeah, that did took a while, about 2 hours, well, maybe a little bit more.
But did you take a reference? Did you take a reference from anywhere? Like you put it side by side, like a real player, vintage player and stuff, in order to see where you can put the shadows and stuff? Or did you take all from your mind?
No, I pretty much took this album cover as a reference. Whenever I need to add some extra shadows or something else, I use this trick that you can learn when you're learning to paint. You can set a source of light. I set it right here. And everything that is between the source of light will add some, for example here, some inner shadow that's actually light. And on the opposite side, it will have shadows. That's just a small trick you can use to add realism to things, just using shadows and lights.
See.
That was a bit confusing, sorry.
Congrats, Valentina. That's amazing. I would never say that these images were made in Figma, to be honest. I would say that you took them and made on Photoshop because it looks like super polished and amazing. So congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Valen, was there anything that you thought of while you were doing this that you weren't able to achieve with what can be done in Figma?
Yeah, I actually wanted to make this previous button, but I couldn't since Figma has the trigger here on Figma was click, but I couldn't really choose if it was on a side of this. For example, if Figma had something like a trigger to click on specific locations of a component, I could set this to, if you click here, it will show the next song, or if you click on the left side, it will go to the previous song. That's actually why the previous is sort of blurred, so it looks like this text is disabled or something like that.
It's like disabled in real life. Someone scratched
it. Exactly.
You might be able to do it. It wouldn't be exactly what you're talking about, but if you set the on click to go to next and then an on drag to go to previous, did you try that?
No, I didn't. I could try that.
That might work. I don't know.
Yeah. On this other one, it was simple because this is a button and this is another button. So on this one, you can actually go previous song and next song.
That's actually a good exercise to try, like the new variables, right?
Yeah.
I definitely should try copying your iPod. Would you mind sharing the link? I do need to practice like prototype with these variables because I didn't have the chance yet.
Yeah, sure, no problem. The iPod and this one are on my Figma community page. I'll share the link with you guys in a while.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, great. Well, Valentina, thank you very much for sharing this with us. It's really amazing work. I'm sure our team can learn a lot from just checking out your file and playing around with these types of things ourselves.
Thanks a lot.
All right, excellent. Well, thanks everyone for joining. And if you're interested in sharing some of the work that you've done, just send me a message and we'll get it set up. And thanks again, Valentina, for presenting what you've done.
Thanks. Thank you, guys.